Welcome back. Week 12 is nearly upon us, and you might be wondering, which IDPs do I need for my roster? Which ones can help me get over the finish line and into the playoffs? Well, Kraig and I have them for you today. We are back. We thank you, as always, for hanging out with us. Let's get to it. Which linebackers are we talking about, Mr. Reed?
Going to start off with Caden Ellis of the New Orleans Saints. So Pete Werner, who was a breakout for him this year so far, had ankle surgery on the week of the 13th of November. They think that hopeful he'll be back this year. Time will tell on that, but Caden Ellis has been filling in for him. He's had a 94% snap share the past 2 weeks with 9 solos, 9 assists, 2 tackles for a loss, 2.5 sacks, and a pass deflection. And it's going to be him and Demario Davis as the 2 linebackers there. He's getting plenty of work, and he's being productive. So he's probably going to maintain flex value or LB3 value if you have 3 starters of those on your team. So he's a definite add while Pete Werner's out. Another one that is lower than it should be by a lot for injury reasons. Of course, he's going to be rostered in dynasty leagues, but Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, he had been out for week 8. Browns had a bye week 9. He was out week 10. He returned against Buffalo to a 95% snap share, which is the highest of the linebackers on the team, to go with 7 solos, 5 assists, and a tackle for a loss. They play the Bucs this coming week, and even if the Bucs go pass heavy, he's a guy that has that experience from college, playing all over the field in the slot, safety, that sort of stuff. So he'll definitely be on the field. He's a great add for the rest of the year too. The next 2 are a little bit different, but they just keep producing. So that's what you're looking for if you have a bye week fill-in or an injury fill-in. First one is Alex Singleton for the Broncos. So he's sort of the second linebacker there after Josie Jewell in terms of snap share. But he's from week 6 on. In the 6 games that the Broncos have played in that time, he's had a 66% snap share, which isn't that high. But he's averaged 5 solos and 4 assists a game as that second linebacker, which is great, again, if you're looking for a fill-in. And the same sort of thing with Jermaine Pratt. So he generally comes off the field for the Bengals with passing downs, but he's really productive when he's out there as a run stopper. He's had at least 5 combined tackles in every game and a 64% snap share. So he's doing great when he's on the field. And again, they're playing the Titans this week. And last week, the Packers' top 2 linebackers both had 12 combined tackles apiece. So he's going to be another good play if you're looking for tackles.
He might be the best play of these linebackers in my mind this week coming up. I mean, Pratt should give you solid double-digit production, most likely, when it comes to fantasy points, at least, in my mind. All right, so DBs, where are we at here?
So this is, again, a weird one, sort of like JOK, but Jeremy Chin, he's worth mentioning. He's Yahoo anyway. He's like 14% rostership, which seems really low, but you got to remember he is coming off a 6-game absence on IR. Came back with a 100% snap share, 7 solos and 3 assists. Dynasty leagues, he was going to be on IR and roster, but again, redraft leagues, not as common to have IR. If he had been dropped off and forgotten about by not playing, definitely a priority add. He's a weekly starter basically in almost every league. Guys that are lower rostered and, for various reasons, but Adrian Amos of the Packers. So since week 6, he has not gone under 5 combined tackles. He's had 100% snap share in every game he's been healthy. And they're facing the Eagles this week, and the Eagles give up the 4th most points to opposing safeties. Something similar on just, not the same level necessarily, but Jordan Whitehead of the Jets. He has at least 4 combined tackles in all but 1 game this year and a 99% snap share. Bears give up the 9th most points to opposing safeties. Not really an exciting pickup, and he's number 3 out of these guys on my list. But again, if you're needing just a nice tackle floor to be safe and not take a 0 as you're trying to get those points for a playoff push or something, he's worth a look. And cornerback, we got Mike Jackson of the Seattle Seahawks. So rookie Tariq Woolen's gotten a lot of buzz for his cornerback play this year. But Mike Jackson, if you're talking about balance or tackle-heavy leagues, has actually been better. He's got 41 solos, 3 assists, 8 pass deflections, and then a couple of big plays from the cornerback position, which is just fantastic for a guy that, is under 5% rostership pretty much all over the place. And after their bye week, they're going to be playing the Raiders here, who give up the 9th most points to opposing cornerbacks.
It's huge. Yeah, Chin is of this group. Chin is definitely the priority. I mean, he's a plug-and-play starter, probably high-end safety once he's fully back up to speed. So all great options, and I think especially in the cornerback needy situation, Jackson is a fun one to play this week because he could have a nice big week for you. All right, so round it out. Let's talk defensive lineman. What are we doing here?
We're going to go with the one guy that people actually know of. Yahoo is below 10% rostership, which seems crazy low to me, but Trey Hendrickson of the Bengals. So he's having fewer sacks and tackles for a loss than he had last year. He had a standout year last year, but he's actually on pace to have more tackles, solo and combined, than he had last year. So it, sort of balances out, but it isn't the same for your leagues because, your league scoring probably doesn't change every year, but his stats are kind of skewing a little bit differently. But they're facing the Titans, yeah, like we had said with Pratt. Just didn't seem right when I said it this time for some reason. But anyway, the Titans are third in points allowed to opposing defensive ends. So they're giving up a lot of points. You're running the ball a lot. Defensive ends get those opportunities. So it's a great spot for Trey to continue to get those tackles and possibly a couple big plays because the Packers did get to him last week too, for some sacks. So that's looking good. The rest of these guys are a bit deeper digs. One of them we talked about a little bit with the rookie streams that we had. Michael Clemens, he's a defensive end / defensive tackle, but he's a lineman for the Jets. He's only at a 25% snap share on the year, which is really low, but he's been getting much more productive as of late. Over the past 4 games, he has at least 3 combined tackles in each game, and he has a sack in 2 of them. His snap share has gone up over the past few weeks as the production's gone up, which is nice to see. They're facing the Bears, who run the ball a lot, and they're in the top 10 in points allowed to opposing defensive ends. Justin Fields, it sounds like they're not sure whether he's not going to play or not, which get that backup in there, whoever it's going to be. It'll be interesting to see what happens if Fields isn't in there or if he is limited because it is a leg issue. So Clemens, he's not going to get a lot of work, but he has a chance to be productive if you're really digging deep. Same thing with this next one, Abdullah Anderson. I think it's a guy we've never mentioned on stream before for the Atlanta Falcons. So the situation is over the first 8 games, Abdullah had about 29% snap share. But over the past 2 weeks, that's risen to 48 approximately. And during that time, he's had 3 solos, 6 assists, a tackle for a loss, and a sack. Taquan Graham was just carted off with an injury and doesn't sound like he's going to be back. So it's going to be more playing time for a guy like Abdullah Anderson. And they're going to be playing the Commanders, who are 6th in points to opposing defensive end. So again, deeper pull there, but a guy that's been showing out as late and going to be getting more playing time could really be productive for you. Of course, we're going to throw in a defensive tackle here for you. So the Saints are in a good position. They're going to be playing the 49ers, who are in the top 5 in points allowed to opposing defensive tackles. That's before the Monday night game here, but it's not going to change a whole lot between now and then. They'll still be in the top 10 at least. David Anamata has had a 58.7% snap share, and he has at least 3 combined tackles in 5 of 11 games. Over the past 4 weeks, he's had 8 solos, 4 assists, 3 sacks, and 3 tackles for a loss. And he's a guy that with that playing time is going to have a really nice chance to continue that tackle production with the playing time he's seeing now.
Yeah, it'll be huge. And those teams are pushing for the playoffs in the NFL, so they're going to be putting their best foot forward and really trying to make some things happen. So Hanamata is a really fun play if you need a defensive tackle specific. And I was really surprised at the ownership levels of Hendrickson, quite honestly, because I consider him a weekly starter, and depending on how deep your leagues are, I've been starting him anywhere where I have him. So I was really surprised, and I saw those ownership numbers like, no, those should be way higher. But
yeah,
that's sometimes how fantasy football works. We do the offensive waiver showing every week. It's like, wow, I didn't realize these guys were so low ownership. So should be the same on the IDP side. Things surprise us all the time. If you guys need more help, you can find us obviously at Twitter at RotoHeatCraig, at RotoHeatBrad, or on Discord. You can get to it from rotoheat.com/Discord. We talk IDP. We have a chat specifically for it. It's free. We help you guys out. We thank you guys as always. And as we get to the end of the season, don't forget, Kraig and I do shows in the offseason talking IDP, getting you ready for rookie drafts, and we have some fun with it. So we will be back in the offseason bringing you IDP content on the weekly, just like we do here with the waiver wires, but it's more in-depth, more rookies, more everything else. So we thank you guys as always, and we'll see you later.